everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, broadcasting live from Orlando, Florida, where I am attending the 2012 annual convention of the FDI Longevity Company. And if you knew what I know about medicine, and if you knew what I know about making money, you would be here. If you knew what I know about all of these things, you would have scheduled a trip here 1 year ago just to make sure that your seat was secured. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. I've been in clinical practice for 23 years. I've been licensed for 2 decades as a naturopathic physician, and it's pretty easy to get results practicing holistic medicine because the body has a built-in God-given ability to fix itself. Your MD, your drug doctor, does not know this. Your MD, your pharmaceutical doctor, does not believe this. Your MD, your pharmaceutical shill, has taught you, has been taught, and has taught you the false notion that once your body is sick, you're screwed. And the best thing you can do, as a matter of fact, the only thing that you can do to help your body deal with the situation is to take prescription medications which march in and override and control the innate natural workings of the human body. And if that doesn't work, or when that strategy fails, they're going to cut it out. They're going to give you a fake knee. They're going to remove the kidney. They're going to remove the gallbladder. They're going to remove the tonsils. They're going to remove the appendix. They're going to remove the shoulder. They're going to take the breast off. They're going to take the prostate off. They're going to fuse the vertebrae. They're going to cut the toes off, cut the feet off, cut the fingers off. Why? Because that's what they do. But holistic doctors are trained in a completely different method. Holistic doctors are trained to believe that the human body does in fact have a God-given innate ability to fix itself. And it is this innate God-given ability that our therapeutics support and promote. So it's easy to get results with holistic medicine. It's like dropping a ball. 100% of the time when you're on planet Earth, that ball is going to fall down. It's never ever going to fall up because there are natural laws at work. Your MD is completely blind to the natural laws of healing. They are completely blind to it. Your MD is like a colorblind art critic. Hey, look, they can see that that's a picture of a tree on the wall, but they're completely blind to the colors and the textures which make up the substance of the thing. Because of this short-sighted, narrow-minded, built-in a priori blindness, MD-directed therapeutics have become the leading cause of death in the United States. They are the leading cause of death in the United States. And if you want to download the document, it's a free 25-page report, extremely well referenced, which proves that statement. Just go to fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. And it's right there on the front page. Download it for free. It's a PDF document. You can download it and take a look at it. It is startling. We have put our faith in exactly the wrong system of medicine. The only thing that the MDs are good at is surgery when surgery is necessary. Trauma, you fall through a plate glass window. They're good at fixing that. If you have a nasty infection, bronchitis or pneumonia that hasn't cleared up with natural means, then, they have a pretty good track record with treating that stuff. If you have your leg blown off in Iraq, they're pretty good at fixing that. If you were injured in the Vietnamese War, there was a 17% chance of survival. If you're wounded today in the battlefield, 85% of soldiers will survive because that is the forte of MD-directed medicine. But for most of the conditions that most of us go to the doctor for, the MDs fail. And not only do they fail to help us recover, their therapeutics kill us. They are, in fact, the leading cause of death. 780,000 people a year are killed by MD-directed treatments. Only 550,000 people a year are killed by cancer, which means that your medical doctor is more dangerous to your health than cancer is. But I digress. I was talking about how easy it is to help the body heal itself. Well, it is. And if you practice holistic medicine, If you're trained and licensed in the practice of naturopathic medicine, it's relatively easy to help people get better because it's like dropping a ball. We are following natural law. And when you follow natural law, you have to really kind of be a knucklehead to not be effective. Now, I've been doing this for over 2 decades clinically, and for the last 3 years, I have been mentoring with one of the oldest naturopathic physicians in the world. His name is Joel Wallach, and he is arguably the most experienced. Dr. Wallach was in charge of $25 million of federally funded research. It took place over 12 years, from 1970 to 1982, and during that time, Wallach supervised or directly did 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies. The research publication which resulted from that body of work is in the Smithsonian Institute now. It's a national treasure. That much research linked with 30-plus years of clinical work makes Dr. Wallach the most experienced naturopathic physician. You know, I could certainly make the argument it makes him the most experienced general family practice physician in the world right now. Now, I've been working directly with Dr. Wallach for the last 3 years, and since I have been following his lead, since I have been using his therapeutics, using his health recovery protocols, the things that I have seen people recover from are eclipse anything that I had previously been exposed to. And remember, if you're a holistic physician, a licensed naturopathic physician, you get results. Well, the results that I've been getting with my patients since I've been following Dr. Wallach's protocols, I don't even know what planet I'm on anymore. And I am here at, Dr. Wallach formed a company 14, 15 years ago called Youngevity. And the company just merged with another company. Now we're called FDI Youngevity. And Dr. Wallach's FDI Youngevity company exists to fulfill 2 purposes. We exist to promote Dr. Wallach's health recovery protocols through medical nutrition as far and as wide as we can and as quickly as we can, because the MDs are killing us and the MDs have let us down, and there is an egregious lack of science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery that actually work. Well, Wallach has had this stuff dialed in decades ago. We know what to do to support and promote healthy bones and joints. We know what to do to support and promote healthy lungs and healthy hearts and healthy blood sugar. We know what to do to support and promote a healthy nervous system, central nervous system. It's dialed in. It's academic. It's a done deal. We know how to do it. But we're the only ones in the world that know how to do it, and everybody is suffering. So we are building a grassroots coalition of the informed, of people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of taking prescription medicine after prescription medicine, only leading down the dead-end road of surgery and pharmaceutical medicine, tired of watching their loved ones die at an early age, tired of the pain, tired of the suffering, tired of giving the pharmaceutical companies their hard-earned money for no results. We are building a grassroots coalition of the informed, people who are looking for science-based, clinically verified ways to lift themselves up. And we will pay you to help Dr. Wallach spread his message. That's right. We will pay you to help us spread Dr. Wallach's message of health recovery through medical nutrition. And that's what this conference is about. There are over 800 people here, energetic, inspired, on a mission to help change the way that medicine is practiced in the United States, to drag people into the light of medical nutrition, and also to help people fulfill their vitamin M deficiencies, their money deficiencies. The success stories that I've heard just in 2 days at this conference have made me weep. The financial success stories that I've heard at this conference are remarkable. I met a 16-year-old girl who's making over $1,000 a month helping her friends and family members and church members recover their health. She's 16 years old. This is an easy job to do, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very easy job to do. Anybody can do it because healing is simple. And we don't expect you to become doctors. We don't expect you to read books. We don't expect you to go to medical school. We don't expect you to get licenses to practice medicine. It's not necessary. We do not need you nor expect you to become the expert. All you have to do is take people to the expert. You don't have to be the chef. You just take people to the restaurant. You don't have to be the artist. You just bring people to the museum. If you join our cause for $10, it costs $10 to join us. We will teach you how to spread this message quickly, easily, and effectively. And once you start to see the results of the real hard evidence of results recovery from chronic disease, it'll make you cry. I've met people here this weekend that used to have type 2 diabetes. I've met people here this weekend that used to be in wheelchairs from neurological diseases. I've met people here this weekend that used to have arthritis so bad their knees were threatened to be cut off. I just had a conversation with one guy. He actually had 3 pins in his neck vertebrae. They fused his vertebrae together, but the surgery was failing, and he couldn't hardly move. Now he's playing golf. He brought me an X-ray and shook my hand and said, "Doc, you told me 6 months ago what to do to support and promote the health of the bones in my neck that were failing from the surgery. Now I'm playing golf again." I love you. You do not know what you do not know, ladies and gentlemen. Medicine is not owned by MDs and drug companies. MDs are taught one very small aspect of medicine, but they have fooled you into believing that it's the only valid type of medicine for everything, and their therapeutics are failing you. If you want a different way, you've come to exactly the right place. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking to you directly, talking to you indirectly, helping you to lift yourself up into health and wealth. Boy, I tell you what, you got to love the weather down here in Florida. This is quite the place, all built on a swamp. Imagine that, the workings of man. What a technological wonderland this place is. Oh, and by the way, you can see the happiest place in the world from my hotel room. That would be Disney World. One of the great things I love about this job is I get to travel around the country. I travel all around the country every month lecturing to different groups. I was lecturing to the Amish in central Indiana a couple of weeks ago. Before that, I was lecturing to a Mormon group in Utah. A little bit before that, I was lecturing to an all-black Baptist group in Columbus, Ohio. North Carolina, I've been all around the place. Now, this is a sectarian organization, but religious groups tend to gravitate towards us because once one person in a congregation experiences a remarkable healing, word spreads like wildfire through that congregation, and before you know it, we have whole, congregations inviting us to come and lecture. It's quite a remarkable thing to do. It's quite a remarkable thing to do. One of the things that Dr. Wallach says is that one of his jobs is to shorten prayer lists. Well, guess what? We can do that. We can actually do that. We're not just saying that we can do that. We actually do it. My colleague, Dr. Wallach, lectures for Creflo Dollar. He's an evangelist in the South. He's got a mega church, 25,000 people every Sunday. Dr. Wallach will show up invited by Pastor Dollar to come and preach the good word of health recovery through nutrition to his suffering congregation, because everybody in the world is suffering. And this couldn't be exemplified more than by the startling statistic, which I just read in USA Today, that autism rates are so unbelievably high now. 1 in 83 kids that's born is autistic. 1 in 83. This is it's like a biblical plague. This is an unbelievable statistic. 1 out of 83 children that are born today are autistic. And the stupid, idiot pediatrician MDs, and I am choosing my words carefully, have no idea what this is and what causes it. And every single stupid pediatric MD, general practitioner, MD, PhD, research scientist is looking for the gene that causes autism, and they will never find it. Remember, these guys are colorblind art critics, and we have given them way too much respect. We put them way up on the pedestal way too much. While these guys have been driving the bus of medicine, heart disease has remained unchanged. Exactly as many people now are getting heart disease as ever did. Cancer statistics have remained unchanged. Just as many people are dying from cancer now as ever did. Just as many people are getting cancer. Actually, more people are getting cancer now than ever did. High blood pressure is going up, autism is going up, Alzheimer's disease is going up, life expectancy is going down, kidney transplants are going up, knee transplants are going up. They're getting rich, you're getting sick. And you get scared when the government starts to make noise about messing with your medical insurance. You've got to be kidding me. We have taken the wrong dog for the hunt. Let me talk a little bit about the nutritional, the holistic perspective on autism. We are of the belief that autism is caused by malnutrition in utero, that the mother who's pregnant is malnourished, that the mother who's pregnant doesn't have enough nutrients to support a healthy pregnancy. And so the child is developing in an environment in utero, in the mother's body, where the developing child does not have the raw materials that it needs to develop properly, just doesn't have it. Why is this? Well, I tell you what we theorize and what we speculate. It's wheat consumption. Grain consumption in the United States has increased by 65% in the last 40 years. The average teenager today eats 6 bowls of cereal a day. Well, Dr. Glidden, that's whole grains. We've been told that stuff's so good for us. Yeah, well, who told you that? Betty Crocker? The people making the food? The medical doctor who's had absolutely no training in nutrition, no clinical experience in nutrition? Yeah, that's who you listen to tell you that whole grains are good for you, but I'm here to tell you they are not. Whole grains are one of the worst foods you can possibly eat. You stay tuned with me in the next section. I'm going to tell you why. And if you want to talk to me on today's show, just call us up. It's toll free from anywhere in the United States, 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. You know, it's a sad state of affairs that we've come to. We're dropping like flies in this country. Everything's getting worse, and everybody's looking around and expecting, nobody's knowing what to do. The only reason that our health is going you-know-where in a handbasket is because we've taken the wrong dog for the hunt. Everybody goes to MDs, and MDs don't practice health care. MDs practice symptom supervision. MDs practice disease management. MDs do not practice health care. If they practice health care, we'd be getting healthier, but while they've been driving the bus of medicine, we are getting sicker. It's a gigantic problem, and we are the only ones that are talking about it. We're like the people that stood up in the antebellum South and said, hey, wait a minute, slavery is wrong, stop it. We're like the people that stood up in the 1920s and you said, you know what, women should have the right to vote. We're like the people that stood up and said, you know what, childhood labor, that's a bad thing. Every culture has myths that are embedded deeply, so deeply into it, everybody just accepts it as real without even questioning it. And one of the myths that's killing us right now is our genuflecting at the altar of the MD. We actually believe that the MD is the go-to person for everything related to medicine, but they are not. And not only are they completely ill-equipped to help us recover from chronic diseases, but their therapeutics are killing us. And nobody bats an eyelash. 3,000 people die in the Twin Towers. We go to war. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, MD treatments kill 15,000 Medicare patients a month, and we don't bat an eyelash. 15,000 Medicare patients a month, 780,000 people a year. And that's not to mention people who are maimed or infected by MD treatments, and that's not to mention all of the automobile accidents caused by people gorked out of their mind on prescription drugs driving down the road. It is unbelievable to me the amount of pain and suffering that we put up with. Oh, my doctor said I have to take that rat poison. Oh, my doctor said I have to take that horse hormone. Oh, my doctor said I have to take that Enbrel. Oh, my doctor said I have to take that Vitox. You know, and then it turns out it kills people, and now there are big class action lawsuits against all these prescription drugs, and we still go back to the MD. We give them a pass. We have been completely brainwashed to believe that whatever the MD says goes. We got to snap out of it. That's why I'm doing this radio show. That's why my colleague, Dr. Wallach, has Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the oldest health talk radio show in the nation. It's the oldest health talk radio show because he speaks the truth. We speak the truth. The truth has a ring to it. Just try to suppress the truth. Good luck. You cannot do it. The truth will out. Now, my piece on autism, our theory on autism is based on our clinical experience. What we have seen over the years, coupled with our understanding of how the human body works. In your digestive tract, it is your teeth and your mouth's job to chew the food up and to break the molecules down into smaller and smaller sizes. It's the job of your teeth to start the digestion process by breaking the apple and the salad and the meat down into smaller and smaller pieces, and then the saliva that's in your mouth starts to chemically digest it. Then you swallow the food, it drops into your stomach. Your stomach is a great big bag of acid. If you could suck the acid out of your stomach, if you had healthy stomach acid, if you sucked that acid out of your stomach with a little tube and dripped it on your skin, it'd burn a hole right through it. It is a big bag of strong acid, and it dissolves the food that you swallow, if it's healthy. Most people's stomach acid isn't healthy. I'll talk about that in the next segment. If you have healthy stomach acid, well, guess what happens? Your food gets digested, it gets chemically broken down, and then it leaves the stomach and goes into the small intestine. Most people have between 9 and 13 feet of small intestine, and the small intestine is like a big hose. It's like a big garden hose that's lined with carpet. And it is the job of the small intestine to absorb the nutrients that are in the food that you just digested into the bloodstream. It is the job of the small intestine to absorb the nutrition from the food, or the stuff that's in the food, into the bloodstream. The small intestine also completes the digestive process. You know, you get bile from the gallbladder squirted into the small intestine. You get pancreatic acid from the pancreas squirted into the small intestine. So it finishes the digestion process, but the main job of the small intestine is to absorb the nutrients that were in the food that you just ate and bring that nutrition into the bloodstream. Now, the tissues that do that in the small intestine are called villi, and they're like little octopus tentacles, and it kind of looks like a shag pile on a carpet. If you were to cut your small intestine out of your body, slice it in half, and look at it, it looks like inside the small intestine, it looks like a carpet. All these millions of fingers of tissue, and there are millions of these fingers. They're called villi. And on top of the villi are millions or thousands of microvilli. 1,000 times a million is a billion. This means you have a billion plus tissue in your small intestine, pieces of your body, and it's their job to absorb nutrition into the bloodstream. Billions of nutrient-absorbing tentacles in your small intestine, all of which are destroyed and damaged when you eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Wheat, barley, rye, and oats destroy the intestinal villi. They destroy them from our point of view, and this is referred to in common parlance as a gluten intolerance. It's not technically a gluten intolerance, because oatmeal doesn't contain gluten, and as far as we're concerned, oatmeal is bad as well. This is not a gluten intolerance. This is a grain intolerance. And so a large majority, this doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to a large majority, over 75% of us. When we eat wheat, barley, rye, and oats, we destroy the tissue in the intestinal tract that absorbs nutrition. Now, it's our position, it's actually an academic fact, that you can't get all of the nutrition that your body needs from food. You can't do it. Your food is nutritionally deplete. So you're eating food that doesn't have everything that you need, And if you're also eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, if you're eating a sandwich or a bagel or pizza or pasta or pancakes or toast or bread or cookies or crackers or pie doughs, pie crust, if you're eating any of that stuff regularly, which is what we all do, especially cereal, especially in the teenage community, every time you eat that stuff, you're destroying the tissue in your intestinal tract that absorbs nutrients. Your food is not nutrient dense. So the more whole grains you eat, the more nutritionally starved you become. So the teenage girls that are in their 20s now, young women getting pregnant in this generation who have been eating whole wheat their entire lives because their parents told them that that was a good idea, because someone in Hollywood told them that that was a good idea. Because of this reason, the kids that are getting pregnant now are unbelievably undernutrified. And quite frankly, this is also the reason why there are so many miscarriages now. Because the child, the embryo, can't even get started because the environment of the uterus that it's trying to get started in is so nutrient poor, the body can't maintain a pregnancy for more than a couple of weeks, boom, and then it spontaneously aborts. Well, if by some stroke of luck the pregnancy does make it past the first couple of weeks, the fetus that's evolving inside of the woman's uterus doesn't have the nutrition that it needs to grow properly. And so it doesn't grow properly, and so the child is born with autism, which from our point of view is a birth defect. And that's why there's so much of it. It's not a bad gene. It's chromosomal damage, invoked by not enough nutrition, the same way that cystic fibrosis is chromosomal damage invoked by a selenium deficiency in the pregnant mother, and that was proved by Dr. Wallach in 1973, I believe, when he was working at Yerkes Primate Research Center in Atlanta, Georgia. He proved and published the cause and cure for cystic fibrosis. It's a selenium deficiency in the pregnant mother, and Yerkes fired him for that. They fired him. They said, you can't work here anymore because when we cure something, all the research money dries up, so get out of here. And the National Institute of Health blackballed Wallach at major medical hospitals. They told those guys, if you hire Wallach, we're pulling your funding. We do not have a free medical market in the United States. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a fait accompli. It's already happened. It's academic. Medicine is not a free market here. Medicine is controlled by the pharmaceutical industry, and there is no law that requires your doctor to cure you, even if the cure exists. Now, I don't know that this was an on-purpose thing in order to reduce the population. I have no idea. But don't you think it's funny that in exactly the same time frame that the cereal companies and the grain companies and the media have been encouraging us to eat whole grains, Alzheimer's has risen, all of these chronic diseases have risen, life expectancy has gone down, Alzheimer's has skyrocketed from 500 cases a year to hundreds of thousands of cases a year, and now autism, 1 out of 80 kids, 83 kids born are autistic, and we put up with it. And where do you go when you get sick? You go straight to the MD. I think that, people got together and said, we need to do something about this, but I have no data to back that up. I think the reason that we have been inculcated to eat so many grains is because of a eugenics program. That's what I believe. And it serves two purposes, because people are dying off and the medical community is getting richer by providing treatments for people that are ineffective. I mean, it's a perfect storm. But whether that exists or not, from our point of view, the rise of autism and the rise of Alzheimer's and the rise of all chronic disease are directly related to nutritional deficiency. Nutritional deficiencies are the root cause of all chronic disease from our point of view. It's not because you have a bad gene. It's not because you've been cursed by God that you're getting sick. It's because you went to the wrong doctor. You took the wrong dog to the hunt. You wouldn't expect to find a lost child in the wilderness with a chihuahua. That's the wrong dog for the job. In order to find someone lost in the wilderness, you need a bloodhound. You wouldn't expect to go pheasant hunting with a poodle. It's the wrong dog for the job. You need a retriever for that. That's the right dog for the job. You're going to the MDs, ladies and gentlemen, and they are killing you. And if they're not killing you, they're certainly not healing you. All that they're doing to you is making you poorer, increasing your dis-ease, and ruining your lives. You need to snap out of it and stop giving them your hard-earned money. Give me a call. I'm here to answer your health questions today and every day from 5 to 6 Eastern, 4 to 5 Central, and 1 to 2 Pacific time. The number here, 866-582-9933. It's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. Give me a shout. 866-582-9933. I am Dr. Peter Glidden, encouraging you to fire your MD now. You can check my website out 24/7. It's an easy one to remember, fireyourmdnow.com. Pretty easy, right? Check us out. Lots of information there, and it shows you how you get in touch with us to get more information. And right now, we have Rob on the line from Minnesota who wants to discuss the whole wheat thing. How's it going, Rob, and what's on your mind?
Hey, Dr. Glidden. First time I've heard your show. I've heard you a couple of times on Dr. Wallach's show, and I'm just gaining a whole wealth of information. I'm 57 years old. The old saying, you are what you eat. I've eaten whole wheat bread my whole life, and I look like the Pillsbury Doughboy my whole life. Yeah. I'm one of these guys that's always had the Michelin Man figure, and I've been on just about every diet you can imagine, but have never, ever heard anybody talk about wheat before. A couple of weeks ago, I finished reading a book called Wheat Belly, and it just kind of, that and what you and Doc Wallach have been saying, just all of a sudden the door opened up. So now I understand. So I haven't eaten any wheat for almost 2 weeks, and if nothing else, I feel like I'm thinking clearer, and things seem to be moving through my body a little better, and so it does help.
Well, I got to tell you, Rob, the best is yet to come. So let me just give you a little insight into this, okay?
I know you're running out of time. I do have one question, if you don't mind, if I can add it into it.
Yeah.
I'm on I've looked at your website, and I've also had gray hair my entire life since starting in high school. And varicose veins, and now something called, I'm 57, and I've got something called venous stasis. My skin color is changing around my ankles and that. Also, I had diverticulitis removed 10 years ago, and so they took about 6 inches of my colon on my lower left side along with it. And now just within the past month, or 2 months, I guess, I've had the incision open up, and so I have a hernia. And I'm wondering, can I fix this through nutrition? It's actually kind of big. I've got a bulge the size of a softball. Can I, just by dieting and nutrition, get this to heal up, or does a hernia have to be closed with surgery?
Okay, well, even if sometimes it's so bad that it has to be closed with surgery because it's so big. I don't know what yours is, but I tell you what, since I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 3 years with Dr. Wallach, I've seen so many remarkable health recoveries that if I had to guess whether your body would be able to rally and fix this, I would guess that it could. But even if it can't rally and fix this because, it's too late or it's too big or it's too far gone, you can 100% drop-dead guaranteed prevent anything like this from happening in the future. And you better, because these things happened not because you had a bad gene, not because you were cursed by God, but because your body just ran out of the raw materials it needed to keep those tissues healthy. And by the way, the hernia and the gray hair and the venous stasis in your ankles are all arms of the same octopus. Those are all caused by not enough copper. When your body runs out of the nutrient copper, those tissues start to break down. You know, it also causes hemorrhoids. It'll cause varicose veins and spider veins. And the last thing that a copper deficiency causes is what killed Albert Einstein. So don't feel bad. Even the smartest man in the world didn't know that he had a copper deficiency. Einstein died of an aortic aneurysm. The big artery coming off of his heart exploded, and that's caused by a copper deficiency from the nutritional perspective. So, yes, your body has a built-in ability to fix itself, so you need to support and promote that, right? And the diverticulitis, from our point of view, was caused by years of eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, kind of like the straws that broke the camel's back. So here's what I recommend, Rob. 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight a month, 3 bottles of selenium a month, and the Good Food, Bad Food Diet at drglidden.com. 1 healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 3 bottles of selenium a month, and the Good Food, Bad Food Diet on Dr. Glidden. Give that a try for 6 weeks. Give me a call back with a report. Ladies and gentlemen, where does the time go? I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Stay tuned. Keep coming back. We're here Monday through Friday. I'm happy to be here. I'll talk to you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.